Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again. Real Ken's TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Hopefully you like the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that post notification. So anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive it. Now, with no further ado, let's get into this morning's video, if you will. It's 2:30 a.m. my time. Got off about an hour ago. And as I sit here in the driveway, preparing to bring the YouTube community this action and this heat, my stepson calls me. And actually, I don't even prefer to refer to him as a stepson. My son, he calls me and Kens. That's literally what he calls me, Kens. I was just saying if you was home yet, because me and my sister, we want some honey buns and we want some milk. I say, come on out, man. I'm in the driveway. So he comes on out and we go up to the store and I make him drive though. I jump in the passenger side. You know what I mean? He's 19. You can drive. You got a permit. So, we go to the store and he gets his hors d'oeuvres, if you will. And so it's 2:31 a.m. at this point. So I'm bringing you all something that was actually on my mind, something that was on my heart, another true real life experience that I actually experienced. It was a particular time in my life. I'm not shy about it, and I make it known I was a knucklehead. I was consistently getting locked up. I get locked up, do 3 years, come home for 3 years, get locked up again. Stupid is and stupid does. That was me. Take all accountability. Actually, it's not ability, it's accountability. I take all accountability. Hold on, we're going to rewind because I don't edit right now. So I take all accountability. And, I was just very selfish. I was I wasn't thinking about my family, my kids, it was just all about me. It was all about the bag. So for you all that's watching this may not know what the bag is, it's just the money. This, an ignorant street term that, people use, including myself. But I try not to use that. I try not to even use the word money now. Capital. It's all about capital. But no, in all seriousness, though, I can put my serious face on. It was just one of those times to where I was determined I was going to get this money. 50 Cent came out with an album back in 2002, 2003, somewhere right around in there. Get rich or die trying. That was my mentality. To a certain extent, though. I wasn't trying to kill anybody, wasn't trying to hurt anybody, harm anyone, But that was outside of those things to where it was affecting anyone else physically or anyone that I knew, man, I'm trying to get it. That's just how it was then. So I ended up catching the case. And when I got sentenced, I believe they gave me, I want to say I got a 3-year sentence. Problem was I was already on parole. So the 3-year sentence went on top of the time that I already had on parole. So it ended up being like a 14-year sentence altogether. So in the state of Kentucky, in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, things are totally different than other states that I've heard of. They have a thing here, it's called a Class D program. Now, what a Class D program entails of, they can send you, basically a Class D program, you can do your time in a county jail, pretty much. Instead of sending you off to prison, they'll keep you in the county jail. And why would they choose to do that? Because the prisons are overpopulated. There's no room. There's no beds. In the bed space that they do have, they want to, save that for the violent offenders. Because to qualify for the Class D program, you can't have a sexual charge and you can't be violent. You see what I'm saying? You can't have like an outstanding amount of time. Like you can't have 50 years and be in the Class D program. So, they're trying to save the bed space, if you will, as I mentioned previously, for the violent offenders and the more serious offenders in prison. So they say, okay, we're going to create this Class D program to where we can just keep you in the county jail up to 10 years. As long as you're within 24 months of seeing the parole board, your eligibility date of seeing the parole board, or serving out your sentence, we can keep you in the county jail. So throughout Kentucky, there's a whole lot of Class D programs. So in addition to all the prisons that they have here, now you have Class D programs. So now they can really lock people up for anything. Okay, prison's overfull, overpopulated, send them to a Class D program. Now you're just sitting in a county jail. So for you all that have been incarcerated, you understand. As far as the prison system, you all that haven't been, it's probably like jail is jail, but it couldn't be any more false. Like it's jail is not jail. You have jail and you have prison. You have people literally in the county jail begging the judge to send them to prison because nobody wants to do time in the county jail. Now, you have certain county jails that are cool. Don't get me wrong. You have certain county jail, Class D facilities that are cool. This particular one that we're going to get into this morning, great spot. Great. It's only great if you're incarcerated. It's not, so let me, I don't want to, make it seem as though, oh man, it's great to be in prison. No. That's not what I do. The whole goal is to deter young people from putting themselves in a predicament, a situation in which they can land themselves in prison. But it's Real Kens TV, so I got to keep it real, and I got to tell you all what actually happened with me. This is my story. Not what I heard, not what someone told me, not what I seen. This is actually my story. So, hopefully you're ready to ride. Whether in your car, whether you laying in your bed, whether you in your recliner, whatever you may be doing. Ride with Real Kens for a little bit. Not too long. I'm not going to take up too much of your time, but just ride with me. Just ride with me. And I try to paint a picture. So my stories may be a little bit longer because guess what? I care about you. So I want to paint a picture so that you can possibly visualize everything that I'm seeing because I've been there. Hopefully you can visualize it. They sent me to this facility. It's called Powell County. You can Google it, Powell County. They had just transitioned to where they only held the locals, which was, all the people that from that area in that county, the surrounding counties, to where now they were housing state inmates. State inmates means you have a felony, basically. So you're being housed by the state. You have county, which is misdemeanor. You're being housed by the county. But once you're housing state inmates, those are felons. The state pays you to house state inmates. See what I'm saying? So they had just transitioned over, and they sent me to Powell County, and because my charge wasn't that serious. It wasn't serious at all. So instead of sending me to prison, they say, well, we'll send him to a Class D facility. I've been to prison a few times, but this particular time, they sent me to the Class D facility. I get there, it's crazy, it's incredible. I walk in, it's just like the army. Like an army barracks. Mind you, I remember I said they had just opened, so everything was new. They had built a separate building specifically for state inmates. It held like 80 state inmates. I never will forget, I got there the first day. When I got there, it was maybe 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. Everybody else was pretty much out to work. You go out to work in the community at Class D facilities. They allow you to go out and work, but it's not like you just go out on your own. You know, you're with the correction officer, or you're designated to a certain place. Like these guys may be on the garbage truck. These group of guys may be, along the county roads picking up, trash and cans and, things of that nature. These guys may be mowing grass, weeding, shoveling snow in the winter. But when I got there, it was still, I want to say it was towards the end of summer. So, it was relatively warm outside, if you will. So it wasn't very many inmates in there. Everyone else was out to work. And when you go out and work into the community, they only pay you maybe $13 a month. So you're not making any money. $13 a month is $13 a month. A lot of people, they were excited to go out and work. Not me. Just keeping it real. I wasn't trying to hear it. So, but let me not get too far ahead. So we'll come back to that. So I get there, everything is cool. The people are like super nice. It's like a small town. Everybody knows each other. They literally picked me up from the facility that I was at, and when they brought me there, stopped at Dairy Queen. I'm thinking she's just stopping, the officer that brought us there, young lady. I'm thinking she was just stopping to get her something. Used to that. I want to say it was 3 of us that they picked up. It was transporting. She was like, what you fellas want? Looking around like, what? But I should have known something, because before that, she offered everybody cigarettes. I don't smoke. But the other 2 guys, hell yeah, buddy. Hell yeah, by God. That's how they talk, we're in the country. So we stop and, we order some food. We tell her what we want. We're not cuffed or anything. It's crazy. So, we eat our food or whatever. We get to the facility. Everything is new. It's crazy. They give us brand new sheets, brand new blankets, brand new pillows. You have your little area. You can have anything. You have a TV. You wear your own clothes. So you have to have your family either bring it or send it to you, because you're just arriving. So, unless you're from there, you're not going to have these things. It was probably about an hour away from, my house. So I'm like, whoa, what type of facility is this? I mean, dudes in there with VCRs and DVD players and all. It was crazy. You can have cash, as much cash as you want. I'm like, man, what type of place is this? Like, I'm seeing dudes in there with cell phones. The staff is not really tripping. They just, they know everybody. Again, they only housed 80 people. They know a lot of the people. Now, guys such as myself that they was bringing in, they didn't know, because we were state inmates. So, you see, they had to get familiar with us as well. But I often had to remind myself that I was even incarcerated, because that's just how loose and open that it was. Pause. We had one particular lady that was so cool. She worked the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights. She would open, Miss Ann, she would open her window in the office, let the inmates walk down the street to the bootlegger, go get some alcohol and bring it back. Only thing she told you is, if you don't come back, it's on you. You escaped. I mean, this is like unbelievable. This is an unbelievable situation. So everything was cool. You know, it was a little friction because, you know, the locals, they weren't used to black guys. I mean, keep it all the way real with you. They weren't used to black guys. We're in the eastern part of Kentucky. You know, they didn't really see many blacks. A couple black families lived in the community or whatnot in the town, but you know, they've been living there for years, so they were already familiar with those, but they weren't really familiar with the, you know, banging on the table, you know, rapping, making beats, and you know, the culture. I'm gonna leave it at that. They weren't really familiar with that. I want to say it was maybe about 10 black dudes that they brought in. 10 total, you know. So it was an adjustment period. It was definitely an adjustment period. But as time went on, they realized, like, whoa, these guys are hell, they're cool just like anybody else. You know, we've heard stories. You know, we've heard there's a stereotype, but I mean, you all cool dudes. So everybody started to get along. Everything was cool. Everything. It was never really after the initial, you know, like I said, the first couple months it was a little rocky, but after everyone started to get familiar with each other, I mean, we would sit in there and play poker till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Real cash money. Sometimes the jailer would be in there playing with us. If you wanted something to eat, if you didn't want what they cooking in the kitchen, I mean, I'm going to order me a pizza, man. I'm going to order me some Chinese food. But you really didn't even have to do that because the kitchen food, it was an inmate in the kitchen. They bought their food from, I want to say Walmart. So it was more so of what you all want to eat tonight. It wasn't a set menu like prison is. Oh, y'all want taco salads tonight? Okay, cool. What y'all want, cheeseburgers tonight and fries? Cool. That's how it was. I can't make this up, man. Most of the time when I tell people the stories about Powell County Jail, they never believe me. That's why I don't really like telling this story. The people were so laid back and cool, it was as though you weren't even in prison. You weren't even in jail. Well, technically you weren't in prison, but you were incarcerated. Big difference between Powell County and being behind them walls and being behind that fence. Night and day, literally. So, you know, time goes on, everything's cool. You don't see no fights. You might see a couple of arguments here and there, but nothing major because you don't want to mess this up. Any place other than this place is going backwards. So you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to do that. You don't want to go to an actual prison when you're like at a, you know, for some of them guys that live there, you had some guys where their families literally lived 3 minutes away walking, 5 minutes away walking. Because the facility, it used to be a senior citizen's home. So they converted it into a Class D facility for state inmates. So it was in a neighborhood. It was crazy. No fence, no nothing. It was in a neighborhood. I worked at the courthouse. So in the morning, I ring the bell. When I ring the bell, they pop the doors open. And I walk to the courthouse by myself. Be there all day. just by myself. Mind you, as I previously stated, you could have as much money on you as you wanted. They ain't have no limit. Green cash money. So when we played the poker games, we didn't even use chips. We just played with money. Cash games. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Well, as time went on, inmates have a way of messing everything up. A lot of the privileges that we had, that I just stated, slowly started to dissipate. You give somebody an inch, they want to take a foot. You give them a foot, they want to take 6 feet. You see what I'm saying? And on and on. So as time went on, the contact visits turned into non-contact visits. Why? Because people were smuggling and sneaking things in through visit. And you didn't even have to. I've never seen visitation while being incarcerated in which they allow you to sit in a room and there's no supervision. Yeah, they have cameras and there's other people in there, as far as their people, family and loved ones visiting them, but there's no COs just sitting around watching you. It was one CO for the whole building. They messed that up. I say they, yeah, because it wasn't me. I didn't mess it up. They messed it up. So now visitors go to behind the glass. They come in, build a booth, put the little plexiglass. Now you got to talk to your family through a phone. Messed that up. They messed up the cash money. Couldn't keep cash any longer. Our individual TVs, send them home. All the perks that we had in that particular facility, they were taken away. But it was still cool because, like I said, out of 80 people, I want to say, without exaggerating, 50 people had cell phones. They knew we had phones. Just don't flaunt the phones. I got caught with a phone a couple times. A couple times I got caught with a phone. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on. Luckily, I got caught by the right person. If that makes any sense. So it was still a cool environment because even with everything that they took from us, it was still way, way better. I used to sit on my phone at night because when I got caught with my phone, one time the CO gave it back to me. And then another time, I just ended up getting another phone. Had somebody bring me another one. That's just what it was. Pay $50, had another phone. No problem. I used to sit on my phone, talk to my girl 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning every night. Every night. Every night. It's no joke. I was there for 2 years. Over 2 years, actually. But as things started to happen, it was a situation where the happiness that was once in the air, everything wasn't all happy. They started to ship some of the black dudes because of the locals. They were complaining about the black guys, and then a couple guys was Muslim, and they kept putting Jell-O on their tray, and they kept saying, listen, Jell-O has pork in it, and the locals were saying that it doesn't, so it was just causing friction, and it was just a problem. So guess what? Instead of trying to solve the problem, get them out of here. So they start shipping, a lot of the black people. So I look up, and I believe I'm the only black dude left. Everybody else, got caught up, got into trouble or got out. So I'm the only black dude in there, to my recollection, from what I can recall. they started bringing more and more locals in. Never will forget, man. It was a dude. I'm gonna say his name, Terry Don. That was his name, Terry Don. He was a local dude. He was a local tough guy. Terry Don was probably, I don't know, maybe about 6'5". Pretty nice sized fella from the hollers. So, he came in there on that tough mentality, and people knew him from the streets. Like I said, it was a local jail, so, everybody knew each other in that area. People didn't mess with Terry Don. They spoke highly of him, said he was a tough guy. He gonna fight, not fight. He gonna fight to the death. Okay. Me and Terry Don never really had no issues. One particular morning, I never will forget. It was a Saturday morning. It was a Saturday morning, and it was early. Maybe about 9 o'clock. I'm asleep. Remember what I said? It was like an army barracks. It wasn't individual cells. It was an army barracks. So, it was bunk beds pretty much. 40 different sets. So it was 80 people. You got one on the bottom, one on the top. And they have rows. You have 4 separate rows separated by a wall that's about, 3 feet high. So you have 20 beds, then a wall. 20 beds in a wall. 20 beds in a wall. And 20 beds in a wall. So, totaling 80 beds. Terry Don's bed was on the far side, opposite side of where I was at. I was in row 1. Terry Don was in row 4. Nobody ever really said anything to Terry Don. It seemed as though even the officers, I seen him talk crazy to the officers. It was like they were intimidated of him. And again, me and him never had no issues. My whole thing was I was making money where I was at. I'm like these country boys. I was the loan shark. They call me Chase Bank. Literally, that's what they called me. You need $5, 7 back. You need 10, 14 back. You need 20, 28 back. Anything over that depends on what type of business we've done, and if we've been good a couple times, you pay me back, and then we may be able to do something over 20, over 30. So my whole thing was I was trying to make money off these country boys. Cool country boys, though. I was doing a couple other things, but, I don't want to include that into this video. I no longer do those things, but at this particular time, that's just what it was. So I'm seeing plenty of money. I'm sending my money out on visit every week. Every time I visit, my girl comes, I'm handing her 150, 200, 250. And then I'm keeping money as well. So I'm self-sufficient. I'm buying all my own food, commissary. Nobody needs to send me anything. I'm sending my daughter money, or to her mother rather. So everything is everything. I don't want to mess any of this up. So I'm really trying to avoid any sort of friction, anything. Particular morning, man, this dude just got under my skin. Pause. Double pause. You don't know what pause means? Look that up. So, it's early in the morning, and like I said, I could possibly get my times mixed up, but I know it was maybe 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere right around that time frame, if you will. And dude just had his music just blasting. I mean, blasting. As though he was like, you know what? It's whatever today. I'm about to blast my music, and whoever don't like it, come see me. That's how I took it. Because he was just blasting his music as though no one else was in there. But we're in the sticks, we're in the hollers, so to speak. So them guys, you know, they know him. They like that type of music. Me, I wasn't no country music fan. Especially at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. Maybe earlier, I don't know. But it, you know, even if it was 9 o'clock a.m., I wasn't a country music fan. And I'm laying there in my bed, what you call it, a rack in prison or incarcerated. So I'm laying there in my rack and just keep hearing the same. It's like kept playing the same song over and over. It just seemed like it. If it looks like we were here today, just a couple of kids just trying to play each other. Should have seen it in color. I don't know if those are the exact words. A picture's worth 1,000 words. You know, I don't even remember the song because it's been that long. But I just know that it was somewhere, I should have seen it in color. I kept hearing that. You know what I'm saying? Over and over and over to where I just, no more. No mas. I got up, walked over to his aisle, turned the radio down. So when I turned the radio down, people's looking at me like, ooh. That was really the look that I got from people. Walked back to my bed, laid back down. As I'm walking back to my bed, I see him turn around and look at me. I ain't care. And now that I think about it, I actually said something. I had a few choice words, man. It's 8:30 in the morning, man. 9 o'clock in the morning, man. People trying to sleep in here. Don't you be touching my radio, bad guy. Yeah, all right. Whatever you talking about. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm not trying to be something that I'm not. I'm not trying to bully anybody. I'm not trying to, none of that. But it's still about respect, right? So I go back, lay back down. It's not even 3 or 4 minutes. Let's just say 5 minutes. Same song. The same song. Oh my God. So dude's trying me now. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I get back up. Okay. So you trying me. So now you really, really trying me. Mind you, this was a lot. This was early. I was so much younger then. Full of aggression, full of, Okay. Again, mind you, it's not a regular prison. So I ain't have to worry about, a lot of the things that come along with things that happen at a regular prison. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he turned it up even louder. It's all I kept hearing in my sleep. That's all I could hear. Like a couple of kids just trying to save each other. I should have seen it in color. That's all I kept hearing. So, okay. Walk back over there, grab the radio. It was sitting up high, like on the top bunk. Grabbed the radio, smashed it in the ground. Bow! Kicked it, stepped on it, stomping it. Was stomping the radio. Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Next thing you know, Terry Don, he was about that evidently. He rushes me. We get to fighting right there in the aisle. Right there in the aisle. You all don't see me because I'm in the car. You see me, but you don't know I'm not that tall. I'm 5'8". He's 6'5". I'm well put together at the time, or, I'm pretty strong at the time. Been doing my little push-ups or whatever. They ain't have weights there, but I was doing my push-ups. Strong dude, man. He's a strong dude. We get to wrestling, and, them country boys, man, they know how to fight. One thing about a country dude, man, they ain't gonna do too much talking. And country white boys from the sticks, no disrespect, they not doing too much talking. When you hear him say, "By God," it's time to get down, man. So we fought. I busted him up. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't win every fight locked up, but I busted him up, man. So that was the talk of the facility, if you will. Kids beat up Terry Don. Man, I mopped Terry Don, man. I ain't want to hurt him. Roughed him up a little bit, let him know. And, looking back, I wish that I had to handle the situation a little differently. Because violence is never the answer. And I asked myself, this is what really bothered me most about it. Did I get beside myself? And the reason I say that is, if I was in a real life prison, there was some true gangsters over there, would I have done that? Absolutely not. I wouldn't have went over there and busted their radio. But yet I feel like I'm in a smaller town, and it's not really the threat. You see what I'm saying? That it would be if I was in a real prison, so I can get away with it. So I wasn't happy with myself, man. I wasn't happy with myself for doing that. See, Real Ken's TV, I'm keep it real. If I'm not gonna say something to a gorilla, then I shouldn't say anything to you. And when I say you, being an individual that's not considered a gorilla. This particular morning, I just couldn't take it. I couldn't take it. Because I just really feel like he was on some, I was the only black guy in there. So I really feel like he was directing it towards me. So it was kind of like a respect thing. Because I laid there for a second, you all. I didn't just immediately jump up. And you kept turning it up, and then you kept playing the same song over and over. You didn't even switch it up. It was just the same song over and over and over. I mean, at least switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Nah, he kept playing the same, and it just wasn't gonna happen. Something was gonna go down. We got in a fight. The staff came in and, separated us or whatever, and nobody went to the hole. Nobody caught a write-up. That's how cool they were at Powell County Jail in Powell County, Kentucky. That's how cool they were. I just put myself in a predicament, in a situation that, even though nothing happened, I wish that I hadn't done. Now, the reason that I'm telling you all this story and how this story came to mind is because I was listening to the radio earlier, and I like all type of music. And that particular song popped up on the radio. And when it popped up on the radio, I got to thinking about it, and it took me all the way back. A lot of years ago. It took me back. Crazy things that happen in jail, man, while you're incarcerated, man. I hate prison. I hate jail. I hate any sort of incarceration. But if there's ever a place that anyone wanted to be incarcerated, and when I say wanted to be, not like they're just sitting out here on the street saying, you know what, I want to be incarcerated. I'm saying if they were already incarcerated and they wanted to get to a place where they could do easy time, it's Powell County Jail, man. But I don't endorse any of that. Do easy time. You do great time being free out here with your family, your kids, your loved ones, your mother, your father, your girl, your wife, your dude, whatever you prefer. Pause. You see what I'm saying? Crazy things that happen, man. I have so many stories about Powell County alone. Outside of prison, I was there for over 2 years. I have so many stories about Powell County Jail, man. You all would not believe. So you all can actually be on the lookout for more stories specifically from Powell County Jail. Tell you some incredible things that you all would probably never ever believe. Real Kens TV. Hopefully you liked the video. Feel free to comment, definitely share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Hit that post notification. Anytime I bring you this action, this heat, guess what? You're amongst the first to receive. Video went a little long. Actually double the time that I had anticipated. But I do understand that there are people that's on the road. There's people that they like the longer videos. I do too. I like longer videos. You know, I can't always listen to a longer video, but, you know, there are times I listen to a 12-minute video, an 8-minute video, and then there are times I'm in the mood, like when I'm trying to go to sleep at night or something like that. I want a longer video. So I understand that other people like that as well. Real Kens TV. If it looks like we're here today, just a couple of kids just trying to save each other. Should have seen it in color. Now that song's in my mind. Real Kens TV.